There is no red, white, or blue in this country. The only color that matters is green, because we live in the United Corporations of America. Greetings, salutations on this historic day in the United Corporations of America, where we have a billionaire catfight for the ages, where President Trump and Emperor Musk have finally divorced. Zaina Day, the great journalist, author of the Bullhorn Bulletin, subscribe on Substack, joining me for this breaking news. There is a serious element to this, which we're going to get to, which is kind of the wider what this reveals, that we're not a democracy and haven't been probably for a few decades. But first, let's have some fun. And I'm operating on no sleep, and Zaina just got out of the shower, so we're just kind of, bear with us. We weren't expecting to go live, but we were kind of comparing that. We were throwing around some things before we went live. What's like the worst divorce that went out public? Kanye and Kim Kardashian, that is, Trump and Ivana Trump back in the 90s, who Trump infamously buried at the 9th hole of his New Jersey golf course to get a tax break in New Jersey. Try that on for size, burying your ex-wife on your golf course. Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie. I don't know. Name some other divorces in the chat.
And Darth Vader.
Yeah. I would just like to say, I said when Trump came in, this is going to last about 4 months. So I was kind of give or take right. I think it's 6 months. I said this isn't going to last. There's going to be an ugly divorce. And now that ugly divorce is playing out. And it has, I think, wide implications, possibly for revealing some of Trump's skeletons, which there's been rumors about and reporting about. But now Elon Musk, there's been recent reports, Zaina, that Musk is on 20 drugs or so, including ketamine, ecstasy, mushrooms, Adderall. I'm not mocking drug addiction, but clearly it has appeared that he's often manic. There was him in the White House getting his little exit ceremony recently. There was video circulating where he kind of looked dazed and confused. He had a black eye too. There's reports he doesn't sleep. So whether it's drug induced, mental health induced, who knows? But when you have somebody like that, he could just start tweeting, the nuclear codes for all we know, because Trump might have gave it to him. So we're going to go and try and go in chronological order, and please smash that like button, share this live stream. This is all happening as we go, so might be new tweets that come up. So the first tweet that I saw was with Laura Loomer, so she's involved too. That symbol.
She's always involved.
That symbol of sanity. So she wrote, "It's heating up. Will be interesting to see what Republican lawmakers do now. I know lawmakers who are asking if they should side with Trump or Elon. I've been on the Hill all day, and it's all anyone's talking about. The most powerful man in the world versus the richest man in the world." Well, I would say maybe that's the real debate. Who's more powerful, the president or Musk? Because basically Trump handed the government to the world's richest man for the last 6 months or so. And by the way, to be clear, we're going to have fun with this, but the Elon Musks of the world have been running the country long before Trump came back into office. It was just less in your face. So let's not pretend here, all these MSNBC and CNN ghouls are suddenly like, oh my God, it seems like we have an oligarchy. No, we had an oligarchy before Trump. It was just kind of more behind the scenes, in the back rooms with the top hats and the cigars, not in your face with billionaires waving around chainsaws after the president gave them the keys to the government. But
Absolute clown show.
what Laura Loomer was referring to was this Musk tweet, because Musk has now totally divorced from Trump and is going in on him. So Musk said on Twitter or X, without me, Trump would have lost the elections. Dems would control the House, and the Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. And he wrote, such ingratitude. And then he wrote, oh, and some food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 years. ... So there's so much to unpack there, Zaina. I want to start with Musk saying, without me, Trump wouldn't have won the election. It's kind of hard to play Monday morning quarterback, but it's also hard to deny that that's not true. I mean, Trump's ground game was literally Elon Musk. Elon Musk was, like, I think, illegally offering to pay people for signing up. Like, sign up for voter registration.
Sign up for voter registration. I'll give you $1 million, and with a voter registration lottery, which is not legal under the FEC.
No, but laws aren't
Who's
for
going to enforce it. Yeah,
right. Laws are for suckers. We had, the reports of volunteers that Musk was paying being rummaged around in the back of U-Haul trucks in some states to knock on doors. In Pennsylvania, and specifically, Trump's ground game was paid for by Elon and all the infrastructure. I mean, even without Musk, maybe Trump would have won because Kamala was awful and she only got to run for 100 days. But I think it would have been
quite a few other big dollar donors. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would have been a lot closer. So I get that Elon's a little butthurt here because Trump's yanking his electric vehicle credits away. Mr. Man-made, what do they call him? Self-made billionaire. He wasn't self-made. Like, Trump was born on third base. Trump got like $300 to $400 million from his father. Elon Musk was born rounding third base, going to home plate, and he's gotten hundreds of billions of dollars in free money from the government. And he didn't, by the way, Musk did not find Tesla. He's not the founder of Tesla, even though that's like the myth. He kind of came in after others created it. So that was the opening salvo.
He became the CEO of the board, and then he became the primary shareholder. And then all of a sudden he is like, I'm the founder, and pushed the people who actually invented the first Tesla out.
Right. And I'm just looking at my phone because this like billionaire catfight is literally going on in real time.
It is.
So yeah, so there's a lot more tweets to get to. We might miss some. Smash that like button, share this live stream. And I think there's a broader point to all this, which shows, even though we're having fun with this, we're in real trouble because this is being exposed that literally billionaires are running the country, corporations are running the country, not just the Republicans, the Democrats too. So the Democrats are going to obviously fundraise off of this, and and smartly they will poke at Trump and Musk and say, look, President Musk, President Trump handed over the presidency to a maniac, and now they're divorcing and having a food fight. But to be clear, the Democrats are just as in bed. They were in bed with Musk. They are in bed with Bezos. They are in bed with Tim Cook of Apple. They have been in bed with all the Wall Street people. And after Kamala Harris lost, what was Hakeem Jeffries' first trip? Not to Detroit, not to Philadelphia, not to Milwaukee, not to the cities that Democrats lost, not to try and reach out to those young people that are moving over to Trump. He went to Silicon Valley to try to beg the billionaires to stop moving over to the Republicans. Okay. So let's not get it twisted. Just because it's in your face more with Trump and the Republicans, the corruption is bipartisan. All right.
It is. I mean, abundance, the whole abundance agenda is all about them trying to placate to the billionaires and the corporations. So yeah, it's just repackaged under a different party.
So let's I want to get, before we move on, Musk also wrote, I want to get your thoughts, food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president. I will be around for 40 years. I basically take that as Musk taking a chainsaw to the Republicans in the House, the Republicans in the Senate, and saying, which side you on? You're gonna
Yeah,
go with the orange Cheeto or me? Be careful, because I have, I'll blow up my whole fortune to primary all of you and get you out of there.
because one of the first things that he tweeted was, and we have this tweet as well, was it's time to create a new political party. Is it time to create, it's a poll, is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle class? And he posted that 2 hours ago, just before he started this recent onslaught against Trump.
But let's be clear, the Republicans, a lot of them, and there's been reporting on this, didn't speak out against Doge, even when it was negatively affecting their districts, because they were petrified of Musk pouring in money for a primary challenge against them. And there's, on the other end, this is how sick and twisted our politics is. On the other end, Republicans, in many cases, don't speak out against Trump, not only because they're afraid of a primary challenger that Trump would support against them if they go against Trump publicly. A lot of them are actually afraid for their family's safety by going against Trump. Senator Murkowski, Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, she openly said that there are Republicans, and not a small amount, that are afraid to speak out against Donald Trump because Trump's cult, if you're in it, not all of MAGA is a cult, but a lot of it is. And by the way, plug for Zaina's upcoming new project, Politicult. We'll talk about that later. So you got on one side Republicans, in fetal position, not wanting to piss off Elon Musk because they don't want to be primaried with, hundreds of millions of dollars for Musk. And on the other end, they don't want to piss off Daddy Trump because they don't want Trump to get behind a even wackier primary challenger to them. Or they're afraid that the MAGA cult will storm their gates physically. So it's kind of like pick your poison. You want Musk or Trump against you. And
they're
I think
lying in a bunk bed that they made.
Well,
lying in all the beds that they've made right now.
This is classic. You created the monster, and now the monster's slaying at you. But I think Elon is basically telling Republicans, hey, you want to play the short game or the long game? Because either through death or just getting kicked out of office, even though I think he's going to try and run for a third term against the Constitution, he's basically saying, I could haunt you for the next 40 years. So I find that very interesting. The media is not going to cover it that way. The media,
too, for us as people, knowing that what he's saying is he's our age. He's mine and Jordan's age. And he's basically,
whoa.
He's a little older. I think he's a little older than you two, actually.
I'm third. I'm not asking your age. I'm 38. I think he's Elon.
I'm 44, so I think he's like 50.
He's 53. But with his drug
use, a bit older than us, okay?
with his drug use, he might be closer to 70. But go on.
True. But he's saying he's going to be around for a while, and people that have watched me for years know that I have supported third parties, and we've interviewed people at Status Coup that are third party candidates. Always have said here it'd be great if there was competition, if a viable party could get started, but and support the third party initiatives. However, Elon Musk, a billionaire running a political party, no thank you. And the first person that commented on that tweet is really hilarious, or the top comment is really funny, because it's Andrew Yang saying, I've got one, forward party. So another extraordinarily rich person that tried to get into politics and start their own party. But Elon Musk has a lot more power and a lot more clout than Andrew Yang did. And that does make me nervous seeing where this is going.
And I want to...
We haven't even started getting to some of the most juicy bits yet.
Yeah. And before I get to the most juicy parts, because Elon's like basically putting Trump on blast for that. The reason they didn't release the true Epstein files is because Trump's on it prominently, which isn't to me shocking because there's been reporting about Trump and Epstein were BFF. But I just want this to sink in because I think too many things in the era of Trump have been normalized. And the media does a bad job of just saying, hey, everybody pause for a second. Let's point out that this is not normal. It is not normal that in a democracy, air quotes, a man was allowed to spend nearly $300 million on any candidate.
Insane.
It is not normal that man was then allowed to break election law by offering bribes to voters, offering, hey, you sign up, you register to vote, you'll get a chance to win $1 million. That's not normal. It's corrupt. It's not normal that an unelected, the world's richest man, an unelected billionaire, was handed the keys to the government, which we don't even fully know what he has done. There's been reporting all over the place that Doge and Musk's little like pea-brain pissant assistants who are in their 20s and probably on ketamine and other things too were stealing data from Social Security, stealing our data, getting all our information. There's been reporting that, God knows what they've been doing with artificial intelligence. Colin, I just sent you the link. Ashley, our colleague, Ashley Bishop, doing a great job. She just did a deep dive on our Substack this morning. So definitely check out her great reporting on our Substack. Article. Yeah, it's basically about AI, artificial intelligence. The AI authoritarianism is here. If you could show the article, Colin, I texted it to you. And that's very tied to Elon Musk. Trump has a bill in the big, beautiful bill. There's a provision in the big, beautiful bill, which about, 20 minutes ago, Musk was supporting. There's a provision that Trump has put in there to deregulate all artificial intelligence for the next 10 years, to bar all states from regulating artificial intelligence at the same time that Trump has basically handed over a massive government contract to Palantir, which Zaina is going to cover some of this on Sunday. Mm-hmm. If you don't know, we're now live on Sundays, Status Sunday, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Eastern. We gained 20 new paying members last Sunday when I was live with Ashley. Zaina is going to be live this Sunday with our friend Chuck Modi.
Love
so
Chuck.
Put it in your calendar. Zaina and Chuck will be live 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Eastern. Maybe they'll go longer if you got a big audience. But this Sunday, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Eastern, and they are going to be covering a lot of great stuff. But I just want to point all this out. Even though the media is only going to cover this, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all the digital, they're only going to cover the food fight part of it. They're not going to cover the corruption part of it because they don't care about the corruption part because they're corrupt. We care about the corruption part. So it is blatantly corrupt, should be illegal that Elon Musk was allowed to buy off Trump and the Republican Party. It should be illegal that Elon Musk, I think it is illegal, but the Supreme Court is also bought. Doge is illegal in the first place. That money was already passed through Congress. You can't just, if Congress passes money, you can't just create a fake agency with an unelected billionaire to decide, we're just going to cut the money that was already appropriated. Can you imagine if that happened under Biden? They'd be trying to send him to The Hague. Can you imagine if Biden put George Soros in charge or George Clooney in charge?
Everything that the Republicans or that the GOP were claiming that, and the other party does do some of this stuff, but this is like next level insanity. And just think about it. Citizens United happened in what? It was in
2010.
2010. And so looking at 2010 to now, 15 years, what did we say would happen? Billionaires and millionaires, because malts into millionaires and stuff was more of a thing then, was going to have and corporations were going to have an outsized influence on politics. And look at the point that we've devolved to. We've devolved to the richest man in the world helped to elect a fascist president, and now they're arguing on social media and slinging mud at each other about who's going to be threatening the party more. The person who is the head of the fascist cult or the billionaire that has the money, that has even more money than the fascist cult leader billionaire.
And by the way, I hate to keep bringing it back to the Democrats. To be clear, if you had a real opposition party, You got Bernie Sanders at 83 years old, whether you love him or don't, because some people, feel a certain way. You got an 83-year-old who's not running for anything in an off-election year, bringing out over 100,000 people in multiple states. So if you had a real opposition party with a real message, you could easily defeat Donald Trump. You could easily defeat Elon Musk. They're not winning because what they're running on is popular. What he's trying to do in this bill is wildly unpopular. They're winning and running because there's no alternative populist economic message.
There's no real alternative party. And then you've got people out there like Ro Khanna coming out and saying, oh, Trump didn't keep all of his promises. The whole taco meme. What is it? Trump always chickens out. Like, oh, Trump always chickens out. He ain't even doing the fascist things he promised he was going to do. Democrats would have done the fascism better. And then you have Ro Khanna taking this kind of stance and being like, the Republicans are not deregulating enough, which is absolutely insane for Ro Khanna. Then you've got Chuck Schumer coming out and saying that Trump is being too soft on Iran.
And by the way, smash the like button, share this live stream so more people know we're live. Leave a comment. We very much appreciate super chats. And by the way, we are actively pushing to grow our paid membership and our Substack. If you can't sign up as a paid member today, that's okay. We hope you can. Right now, I'm talking to Ashley about possibly sending her and John down to Memphis. Speaking of Elon Musk, because Elon Musk
down there. Awesome.
Elon Musk and his supercomputer center, which he's using for AI, is poisoning South Memphis with gas and gaseous gaseous turbines that are literally poisoning the community. The media's basically not covering it aside from a few. So we want to go on the ground to cover it. These things cost money, and we're not funded by Peter Thiel or Donald Trump or Elon Musk or any of. So if you want real living, breathing, on the ground journalism on what matters, on stories that the corporate media is covering up, there's the link, statuscoup.com/join, $5 a month. That's all I'm asking. We really need to grow. I got a newborn now on top of a toddler. I'm not sleeping, so I'm not beyond begging you. I need help. Ashley's been great. Zaina's great, but we have to expand. We need more hands. We need more brains. Colin needs help on the editing. So please support us, statuscoup.com/join. Like I said, our first Sunday show that we just did, we had 20 new people sign up as paid members, which, by the way, as a paid member, you get great perks. Our monthly members only call, which we're going to do soon. Our behind the scenes videos you get from our on the ground reporting. And now as a paying member, you get discounts at our merchandise store. That's statuscoup.com/store. If you can't sign up as a paid member, you can sign up today for free to our Substack. We're trying to grow there too. That's statuscoup.substack.com. For free, you can sign up at our Substack. And at Substack, you're getting our new original reporting. We've been doing new stories, original investigative reporting and commentary at our Substack every day for the last week. And we're trying to keep on growing there so we're not as reliant on YouTube. Okay, so.
Oh, and there are more of these company towns being built, more AI facilities like the one that Musk is building. And also across the nation, people are standing up against ICE. They're standing up against what's happening within the Trump administration. There's town halls. There's so much for us to cover on
Absolutely.
The ground.
So moving on in the billionaire catfight, Elon, and I think most of this is in the chronological order. It tweeted or truthed out. So hopefully I'm sending this out in the right order of what happened. So Elon then tweeted out, "Remember this, real Donald Trump?" And he had a video of Trump and Elon doing like the car lot sale of Teslas on the White House lawn. And he tweeted this out because Trump, in what he truthed out, it's bizarre to even say that, Trump is claiming that Elon is revolting against Trump and the Republicans because Trump pulled his electric vehicle tax subsidies. But Elon is putting out this video where from that ridiculous cartoonish display where Trump was literally doing a Tesla sale on the White House lawn, because in that video, Trump had said, I ended the EV mandate. Elon never even complained to me. Who would do that? Elon has never asked me for a thing. So Elon, Zaina, is basically trying to point out that I'm not revolting against Trump because he pulled the electric vehicle mandates, electric vehicle subsidies or whatever cuts that Elon gets plenty of money. And he's using Trump's own words against him. I don't really think that will matter to MAGA because MAGA doesn't really care about facts and Trump will just shake it off. But Elon is basically pointing out, Trump's lying, which he is. So then moving on, it's going to get really good. Trump truthed out. Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do. And he just went crazy. Huh. And he just went crazy. Elon responds, such an obvious lie. So sad.
It is kind of a lie. I mean, there was tax deductions and stuff for EV vehicles, but there's no. Trump always said there's an EV mandate. Biden has an electric vehicle mandate. He's going to mandate you to buy electric vehicles, but that never existed. I've got 1,001 criticisms of Joe Biden. I am no Joe Biden fan, but I am a fan of accuracy. And it isn't true. There was no mandate for electric vehicles.
No. And by the way, yes, Elon and Tesla benefited greatly from the EV subsidies. But in terms of free money Elon gets from the government, he gets a lot more in free money for SpaceX, Starlink. Tesla is like third on the list in terms of free money he has gotten from the government. The real moneymaker that he's getting free money from the government is for his Starlink program, his SpaceX vanity project to, create a colony on Mars or whatever the hell he wants to do. So I kind of buy that, like, he's not revolting because the tax cuts, the EV credits are being taken away from him. I think he's revolting because he wanted to stay and do Doge. And he thought Trump was going to literally give him the keys to the kingdom where he could just cut whatever he wanted. And Trump finally started to rein him in because Trump doesn't like when somebody else takes over the headlines. And for a while, when the Doge thing was really in the news every day, Elon was the headline and Trump was moving to the back burner. Trump does not like that. That's why he picked Mike Pence as vice president. That's why he picked J.D. Vance. He doesn't want anyone else on his stage. But I think Elon is more pissed off because if you're the world's richest man or any big investor, if you're buying off someone, you're expecting them to be your little puppet. And Trump, for the most part, was his puppet, but then started kind of pulling back the strings, for lack of better phrasing. And I think Elon was forced out after a while of Doge because Republican congressmen started complaining to Trump, senators started complaining, and Trump started seeing Elon's less popular than lice. Yeah. It's hurting me. So I think that's really why Elon is revolting. It's not as much about the electric vehicle credits or whatever. All right. So Elon said such an obvious lie. Then Trump truths. Now we're leading up to the real fireworks. Then Trump truths. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. A broken clock is right twice a day, and he is right. But you want to know something? I will add to that. Because, yes, the easiest way to save money is getting rid of Elon's government subsidies. But maybe Trump could add on to that. Let's get rid of the free money for Wall Street because they're getting free cash and subsidies. Let's get rid of the corporate welfare for the fossil fuckers. Fossil fuel industry is getting $15 billion free a year. Let's get rid of
How about we stop sending money to Israel and the military-industrial complex to carry out a genocide? That'd be wonderful.
Amen. We could stop sending free money to Pfizer, Moderna, all of them, the big pharma. We could stop sending money to, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Tim Cook, Silicon Valley, all of these Republicans and all these Democrats, the how you're going to pay for it choir, the how you're going to pay for it chorus, now the abundance buffoon crowd, they're all so fiscally conservative and they care so much about how we're going to pay for things. The Republicans are rigid on Medicaid and they want to kick people off Medicaid and go get a job. The real waste of this government is not USAID. It's not Social Security. It's not Medicaid. There's going to be waste in a big bureaucracy everywhere. But the real waste is the free fucking money we're giving to all of these corporate vultures that have purchased the government, including the lobbyists, by the way. So Trump is right. Now he's pointing out the truth that, oh, if you want to cut something, Doge should start with cutting the subsidies to Musk, but cut the subsidies to Amazon, cut the subsidies to Wall Street, fossil fuels, big pharma, military industrial complex, big tech. I mean, I could go down the list. The media is not going to cover that. They're going to cover the food fight. They're going to cover the drama. They're not going to cover the underlying rot. They're not going to cover the underlying corruption because that's just a normal Tuesday for them that our system is run on legalized bribery. So Trump's not wrong in that truth, but he should have made it a lot longer. And
it's selective. It's selective. You pissed me off, so now I'm removing your subsidies, but we're going to leave all the other, as you had mentioned, all the other corruption that's still in place, all the other subsidized buddies, how much we're going to still be giving all this money to the crypto bros. We're going to still keep our deal with Palantir, this new $30 million deal to build a system in order to spy on U.S. citizens through our social media and with all the information that Doge has collected.
It's just crazy. So all this is going on, and I don't know what has now Steve Bannon is chiming in. Steve Bannon says that he strongly believes that Elon Musk is an illegal alien and should be deported from the United States immediately. Oh my God, this day just went from great to fucking spectacular. Now they want to turn the illegal immigration wave on Elon Musk. Can you imagine if Trump deported Elon? That would be fucking epic. But I got news for you. Elon might just pay off the Border Patrol, ICE, not to deport him. He's got the money. He could buy ICE. He could buy Border Control to stay in the country.
True.
But now they're saying deport Elon. And I'm sure MAGA is going to turn on Elon because they're just a bunch of babies,
I don't know. It's pretty
clapping seals.
It's kind of split. There's a rift in the base between the libertarians and the Muskie boys, those more hardliner libertarians, the people that follow Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen, J.D. Vance, and then the MAGA and the Maha movement that follow Trump. There is a rift. There's a rift and a separation between the two. And I don't know which way it's going to go because there's, the austerity Republicans and a lot of the neo-Nazis that follow Musk still support him and are pretty diehard. And it's a lot of those young white men that were under 26 that voted for Trump came because of what Musk brought to the table, not necessarily Trump. So,
well,
what's going to happen?
Now we have primed the pump. We have given you the appetizer. Now let's get to the main meal. Mr. Musk, after Trump basically, challenged him on truth, said that he's just, crying crocodile tears because his corporate welfare has been taken away. Elon Musk wrote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump." And then he wrote, "Mark this post for the future. The truth will come out." So there's a lot of, there's many directions to take this. But first, let's give you the serious background, because obviously Epstein is not a joking matter, and the horrific details of what his pedophile ring has done. I believe there's evidence that Bill Clinton was on his island doing horrible things with underage girls. Bill Clinton lied about how many times he flew on Epstein's private jet. I believe Alan Dershowitz, the infamous constitutional lawyer who's, Mr. Israel, lied about his interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. And so has Trump. There's been reporting about Trump and his, apparently, according to Epstein, being like BFF with Epstein. This from The Guardian.
I mean, Trump used to speak openly about how he would go to their parties, and him and Ghislaine Maxwell were great friends.
Right.
He'd always said that. And there's, numerous pictures of Trump at events and some pictures of Trump, Bill Clinton, and Epstein partying it up,
Right. So this is from The Guardian. Jeffrey Epstein details close relationship with Trump in newly released tapes. Recordings from 2017 reveal Epstein talking for some 100 hours about the ex-president. Journalist Michael Wolff says. New York author and journalist has released audio tapes that appear to detail how Trump had a close relationship with the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein that Trump has long denied. The tapes, released as part of the Fire and Fury podcast series by Michael Wolff, author of the books about Trump's first term, and James Truman, include Epstein's thoughts about the inner workings of the former U.S. president's circle. Wolff says the recordings were made during a 2017 discussion with Epstein about writing his biography. Epstein died by suicide. No, he didn't. While awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges 2 years later. Despite his crimes, the wealthy financier was at the heart of a social circle of the rich and powerful in the U.S. and overseas that contained many famous names. Wolff claims the excerpt taped is a mere fraction of some 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing deep relationship with Donald Trump. My guess is Elon Musk has access to those tapes, Zaina. Just saying. Trump once praised Epstein in conversation with New York Magazine in 2002, calling him a terrific guy. Then later on, he said, I was not a fan of his. That I could tell you, the president said, after Epstein was arrested on federal sex trafficking charges in 2019. The Fire and Fury tapes reveal Epstein recalling how then President Trump played his circle off against each other. His people fight each other, and then he poisons the well outside. So that's some of the Trump-Epstein background. There's also this from last year. As we speak, Musk reposts video of Trump partying with Epstein in 1992. Colin, if you could find that. Apparently, Musk just tweeted or retweeted a video of Trump partying with Epstein. So I think I think Musk is teasing Mr. Trump that he's got the goods and he's going to release them on Donald Trump. So there's Trump partying with Jeffrey Epstein. And ladies, I also want to point out this from last year. Woman alleges Trump groped her in front of Jeffrey Epstein. A former model has alleged in a CNN interview that she was groped by Trump in the 1990s. Stacey Williams says the incident occurred in 1993 after disgraced financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who she says she was in a relationship with at the time, brought her to meet Trump at Trump Tower in New York City. The second Trump was in front of me, he pulled me into him and his hands were just on me and didn't come off, Miss Williams told the broadcaster. The Trump campaign denied the claim, noting the former model originally shared the story at an event called Survivors for Kamala in support of Trump's rival. Quote, these accusations announced on a Harris campaign call before the election, blah, 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 blah.
They act like he wasn't on a bus saying, grab him by the...
Yeah. And they also act like there wasn't 15 to 20 women who have accused him of rape and sexual harassment.
Absolutely. Including one of his ex-wives.
Exactly. So again, in the Trump decade, because we're now in a decade since he came down the golden escalator, I actually think it's literally a decade soon. I think he launched his campaign in June of 2015. So I think we're headed towards
you're right.
The 10-year anniversary. So many things have been normalized, but remember, this man, I believe, is credibly accused by well over a dozen women of assault, including rape. by several. So there's other things unfolding as we're live. I can't follow all of them. Colin, if you see other stuff that Musk is tweeting out, just pop it up and we'll respond.
There's one that I want to talk about. Musk says, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately. Now, Dragon is NASA's spacecraft that sends equipment, people, personnel, retrieves. It's what they use back and forth. It's not actually SpaceX totally. It's actually a NASA project that they use to, I'm sorry, they use to interact.
It's okay. He's barking against Epstein. Good dog.
Sorry, there's a park across the street and they're like testing their equipment or something for Thursday Night Live, probably.
That's okay.
But Lydia, please help me. Okay.
So you were saying about Dragon something?
Yes. So the Dragon spacecraft is what is used for transportation back and forth with the International Space Station. This makes me think of another problem that a lot of the media is probably not going to talk about, and that is the fact that Obama privatized NASA. And when he privatized NASA, he gave a bunch of money and they said that there's going to be all this growth, there's going to be all this progress within 10, 15 years. There's going to be an explosion of space development. We're going to make it to Mars. We're going to be back on the moon. None of that shit's happened. In fact, there's been less advancement from NASA. NASA has stalled in a lot of ways with their actual space development because people like Elon Musk are milking it dry, and now he's threatening to withhold a rocket that literally doesn't belong to him, but belongs essentially, I would say, to the American public.
Absolutely. I want to also point out something that I think is important because, again, in the middle of all this food fight, and it's fun and it's entertaining and get your popcorn, I'm enjoying it. To be clear, when you have this amount of wealth, Elon Musk is the wealthiest person on earth. There's no information he doesn't have access to. It's very likely Elon Musk himself has whatever the private documents are that Attorney General Pam Bondi did not release. Remember, they teased they were going to release the Epstein files, and it was a big dud. They just released shit that had already been out there for years. It's very likely that Elon Musk already has whatever the documents are, meaning Elon Musk knows everybody that's on that list, not just Trump. So when he's threatening the Republican Party, hey, we read the tweet earlier, Trump's got 3.5 years left, which I don't think is true because I don't think enough people are taking him seriously that he's going to try to stay in office. I don't think Trump is going to leave. And I think he wipes the Constitution with his ass. Or, yes, he wipes the Constitution with his ass. And I think this Supreme Court, he's got 2 automatic votes no matter what. He could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito will rubber stamp it for him. So he only needs a few more votes to find some loophole that he could run for office again. So to be clear, when Musk says he's only here for 3.5 more years, that's not entirely clear to me. Remember, everybody said, of course he's going to leave office willingly the first time. Well, now
Elon's saying that he should be impeached.
Right.
Well, retweeting that he should be impeached. But I will say that, there was one other thing, just real quick. Not only does Elon Musk have probably access to the Epstein files, he had access to everything. Federal contracts, IRS, and the people who were collecting these were goons that worked for Elon Musk, little minions that worked for Elon Musk and the tech bros in the past. They have so much dirt on Trump, and could potentially have dirt on every single member of Congress. This is insidious. I'm not saying that they do for sure, but he would absolutely have access to that, right?
Why I brought this up is, on one hand, you have Elon Musk basically saying pick sides to Republicans in Congress.
Mm-hmm.
He's also, I believe, he hasn't said it yet, but don't think for a second that all those people that know for sure they are on the Epstein list, that have denied it for years, don't think they're not melting down and freaking out right now, because they know you have I hate to say it, but it's true. You got a manic drug addict with unlimited money that can basically nuke your life by one tweet. I mean, Elon Musk could literally, if he wanted to, tweet out the Epstein list within the hour. So all those people have denied it for years and have spent millions of dollars on PR to say, I didn't know anything. I wasn't there. Talk about Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz. I mean, there's even rumors that some musicians partied with Epstein, not just P. Diddy, others, from ambassadors, dignitaries. They're freaking out right now because Musk, I think, maybe through back channels, might tell them, you better publicly be on my side here.
Hey, buddy. Yep. And you know what? Fuck these people. Because at this point, maybe these members of Congress and people like Trump and all of these people will get just a little bit of a taste of what the rest of us have been fucking dealing with these robber barons, these oligarchs that have been stealing every fundamental piece of our lives, that have hoarded all the wealth, that have driven us into poverty, that we have to be afraid of, that we have to be afraid that they're going to come after us because we're speaking out against genocide, that people are going to be, that the colleges are being defunded and that people are being deported. It's a little taste of it, just a little taste of it. I can't stand Elon Musk. Nope, I'm not defending the man whatsoever, but I have a little schadenfreude with the fact that, people in DC are melting down over this because the leopards have eaten their face. And I'm talking about Democrats too.
Right.
Because Musk isn't just going to stop with the Republican Party.
And I just want to point out, and Colin, if you could bring it up again, if you still have it. I pointed out earlier that our colleague, Ashley Bishop, did a great Substack piece today titled AI Authoritarianism is Here. And definitely go sign up for our Substack. You could sign up for free, statuscoup.substack.com. We're really trying to grow there. And again, you could sign up to our Substack for free. You get all of our new Substack pieces right to your email inbox. So the link to the Substack is in the description. We'll also put it in the super chat too, to our Substack. But why I think this is,
you can do the membership on the website at statuscoup.info and sign up here, because we never know when the alphabets will potentially take down the YouTubes.
It's smart to diversify and not be completely reliant on YouTube, because YouTube one day could just decide to kick us off or nuke us or demonetize us. We hope that doesn't happen, but we really ask you, it shouldn't be, you take 5 seconds and sign up to our Substack for free. There is a paid option, but you can sign up for free. And right now we're pretty much making everything free on Substack. And as Zaina said, please, if you can, I am not beyond begging you, the proletariat, please support our work, particularly our on the ground reporting, as a paid member. You could sign up for as low as $5 a month. We're going to play you some of that on the ground reporting in a little bit, but it costs money. We just brought Ashley on full time. That costs money. Obviously, paying Zaina when she does work for us, paying Ron, paying Colin, paying John, paying myself. We don't have any funding from Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, United Healthcare, or the rest of the crooks. But I wanted to bring
advertisers, for that matter.
Right. So I wanted to bring this up again because Ashley's story, and you should definitely read it and share it, points out basically the Republican bill. Everyone's focused, rightly so, on the, robbing us. So basically robbing the Treasury, these tax cuts for the rich. That's what the media is focused on. There is a provision in this bill that makes States handcuffs them from regulating artificial intelligence. At the same time that Trump and Republicans have openly stated they want to basically double down, triple down, quadruple down on artificial intelligence. The Republicans have put forth a bill to basically allow AI to prescribe medicine rather than doctors. Let me repeat. There's Republicans in Congress that have put forth legislation to have AI be the ones to decide on prescribing medicine and signing off on prescribing medicine rather than doctors. We already know through my reporting that United Healthcare, part of the reason its CEO was offed was because he was involved in this scam to use AI to deny more healthcare claims at a 90% error rate. So Trump's bill, there's a hidden provision in it that would ban states from regulating artificial intelligence for 10 years. It is so bad that even MAGA queen and lunatic Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out against it. That's how you know it's bad. Because this is like literally you're creating a monster and then there's no you're even like basically chaining the superheroes from slaying the monster. So,
and one of the worst aspects is data centers. These massive data centers take an enormous amount of electricity, an enormous amount of water. That's one of the reasons that, as Jordan said earlier, we're trying to get down to Memphis, Tennessee, where Elon built a massive data center and has these generators, numerous generators. He's basically built his own mini power plant that's poisoning people. And I will be covering it on Sunday, but there's multiple AI centers to be built in North Carolina. If you don't have local oversight, that means state and local governance can't say not here. We're not going to do a data center here. We don't have enough water. No, you can't tap into our electric grid. No, you're not going to poison our people. You're not going to drain. It employs hardly anyone. These places don't employ hardly anyone, but they're massive data centers. It's like Bitcoin, but dial it up to 11. It's even worse than Bitcoin as far as a strain on the environment.
And why I bring this up, because it's all connected. Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, they're all connected, these tech vampire feudalists. So the AI, the bill, the provision, which would basically let AI run rampant on all of us with no regulation, not only does it benefit Peter Thiel and Palantir, which the Trump administration has just handed a $30 million contract to create a centralized database to spy on all Americans. You ever read 1984, George Orwell? Well, it's here. But also it benefits Elon Musk, who is, as we talked about, has built, he calls it the world's largest supercomputer factory in Memphis that is poisoning that community through the gas turbines they're using to power it. And now he's putting in to build an even bigger one next door in Memphis. He did not put in a permit request for any of it. And they're trying to build more of these data centers for AI around the country. So not only is it going to cut, I think millions of jobs is an understatement. Their goal is to replace as many jobs as possible and, let us fight for the scraps. But it's also very toxic for the environment and for communities, and puts even more gasoline on the already raging climate inferno. So definitely read Ashley's piece on Substack, share it, and sign up for our Substack. Your thoughts as I scroll to see if I've missed anything else in as the
that's what I was just doing too.
As the Musk turns.
There is one video he's pulled from Rumble, but I don't know what it's about. So I haven't taken a look. It has something to do with Bill Gates, Tesla, I don't know. But these techno theocrats are building this AI, and one of the things it goes just beyond them taking our jobs, our resources being drained. Who the hell knows what kind of government services they're going to try to run through this AI. The AI is starting to do quirky things that they don't fully understand, not following prompts correctly. The NIH recently, and this is something we'll talk about, we'll go into depth on Sunday, but the NIH recently released a report, and there were multiple, dozens and dozens and dozens of inaccuracies on this report, because the report was generated, or the Department of Health, excuse me, not the NIH, the Department of Health, overseen by RFK Jr., released their first health report, and they generated it through artificial intelligence. And it is full of an abundant, many inaccuracies, dozens and dozens of inaccuracies in this report. So it's already kind of failing in that way, but we don't know what kind of form AI is going to be taking. I'm talking Terminator kind of stuff, and I'm not trying to fearmonger. There are a litany of scientists. This isn't a fringe idea that AI could develop into something dangerous that could not only be weaponized, it could potentially be hacked. It could potentially go off the grid and infiltrate the internet, and then we don't know what's going to happen from that. It's a whole new world of insanity, and they're wanting to escalate it with zero oversight in 10 years because of an arms race with China. The new arms race is supposedly AI.
And there's also another element that could harm anyone. So obviously, there's the economic bread and table issue of replacing our jobs. We already have a fucked up, crazy system where your healthcare is tied to your jobs. So we're going to have even more people without healthcare while they're trying to cut Medicaid and whatever scarce backstops we have to healthcare. There's another element. As they pour more money into this AI and making these AI models even better and better, there is now AI that is literally creating, you've heard of these deep fake videos that it's hard to tell, is this a real video? Is this AI? That with more AI companies coming up every day and more money from the government being poured into AI, including Elon Musk's Grok, which is the AI that Twitter uses, they're basically creating blackmail. They're creating, it's becoming, and I'm seeing it too, they're creating videos that look so real through the AI, and they're matching voice tone. So if they could put out a video today showing Jordan Sheridan robbing a bank that's completely fake, but they match my tone, my cadence, my everything, that it could go around that Jordan Sheridan robbed a bank for hours before people realize not. But what about that could be used even more worse? They could place people at crime scenes that they weren't actually there. They could place you, if you're a man or a woman, they could place you cheating on your spouse. And you weren't there. I mean, you might say, Jordan, you're being a little dramatic. No, read up on this. The technology is becoming so good with facial recognition and matching your voice and your tone and your cadence, even the way you walk. It's getting to the point where it is almost impossible to separate what is a real video. I mean, they have AI models right now that I can't tell that they're not real people in some of them. So this can be used if you have the money to hire AI companies. It could be weaponized against anybody.
That's right. And that's dangerous, because then we don't know if we can trust our own eyes. And we don't know if we can trust anything that, you've you've had all these conspiracy theories forever, from like if you guys remember, like QAnon with the lizard people and the clones and all that stuff. Well, this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is something real. Literally, if they wanted to change something, whoever it is, I'm talking about the proverbial they, not like if an individual that wanted to change something on media could potentially adjust an interview, create a fake interview, run it as a news report. These kinds of things are what we're looking at down the pike, because deep fakes are becoming so realistic.
So there's
So
a
news
couple.
is another aspect of it, not only the blackmail, but I'm really nervous about what this means for fake news, especially on social media.
So I just sent you, Colin. Let me know when you have it. Steve Bannon is getting involved, and this is just fucking. That's
Speaking of, that's some guy I wouldn't put it past for Breitbart to run some sort of like video that ain't real.
right. So
I
Steve
mean,
Bannon,
not that they would, but they might. They write articles that aren't real often.
Steve Bannon, who has been, talking shit on Musk, even when Musk was sucking at Trump's bosom. Yeah. Steve Bannon said he is advising the president to cancel all of Musk's contracts and launch several investigations into the world's richest man. They should initiate a formal investigation of his immigration status because I am of the strong belief that he's an illegal alien and he should be deported from the country immediately, Bannon said in an interview. Bannon said the Trump administration should also investigate Musk's drug use, as reported by The Times, and his effort to get a classified briefing on China from the Pentagon, which was also reported by The Times. Bannon said Musk's security clearance should be suspended during these investigations. In fairness to Elon, if they do those investigations, I'm not sure they would be legitimate investigations. But this is just the definition of you created the monster, and now the monster is, turning on you.
Right.
Trump. And by the way, to be clear, if you really want to go back here, I don't want to do a false equivalency, but the Democrats have a lot of blame in this too. Because to be clear, Trump committed a crime on January 6th, I think. It was not like just a protest that got out of hand, as some leftists claim, air quotes on the leftists. I mean, Trump incited an attempted coup, in my view. They stormed the Capitol to stop the election results. Merrick Garland was
there's that other element that people leave out that try to defend it. And the fact that he was calling secretaries of state and telling them to find votes outside of the storming the Capitol that people were physically doing. This was a president calling secretaries of state, telling them to find votes. That's insane. Or to vote not along with the majority vote consensus.
So apparently Democrats are now tweeting or saying, kill the bill and release the Epstein files. Be careful what you wish for, because your guy Bill is on there. But I want to point out, part of how Musk was able to buy the election, if you believe that Trump wouldn't have won without Musk's help, I think Trump probably still would have won. I think it would have been closer without the nearly $300 million Musk gave him. A lot of this is on Biden and Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland should have prosecuted Trump or hired a special prosecutor pretty much immediately after January 6th. Merrick Garland dragged his feet for a year and a half, was it? Before they even launched an investigation into January 6th. Merrick Garland's Department of Justice, basically slow walked for a year when they knew Trump had classified documents, including nuclear information and the identity of spies. They let Trump sit on that for a year and said, kindly, pretty please, can you return the documents? They should have initiated both investigations and both charges a year or two earlier, because Trump was able to delay through appeals and using, the power of the legal system that only rich people have, because they could slow down the process with lawyers and appeals. Long story short, if they would have initiated the investigations and charges much sooner, Trump very likely, I believe, was going to trial and would have been convicted in some way, at the very least on the classified documents, which was a pretty black and white case. That if it were anybody but Trump, they would have been thrown in prison for having classified documents sitting in bathrooms at Mar-a-Lago, sitting on the ballroom stage at Mar-a-Lago. So that's on Biden administration and Merrick Garland. If you want to pretend that the DOJ is separate from the White House, you can. It's not. They should have gone after Trump earlier. And if they did, Trump, I don't think would have been able to run for president again. I don't think they were, even if he got convicted, I think they would have made a deal. You know, you are no longer eligible for any office in America, and you're under house arrest for 6 weeks or something bullshit like that. So the Democrats helped create this monster by not going after him. And by the way, let's not forget Obama, who should have went after Bush, Cheney, and the rest of the fucking war criminals that sent us. So there's a lot of blame to go around. But the bottom line is we have a government that has been purchased. The flag is not there for dramatic effect. We live in the United Corporations of America. And that's what it is. And the only difference between Democrats and Republicans is this has been going on even under Democrat presidents, even under Democrats controlling the Senate. It was just in the backdrop. Chuck Schumer's daughter, I believe, had a high position at Facebook. You wonder why they don't regulate Facebook? You wonder why Chuck Schumer was one of the top recipients of Facebook cash? I mean, literally, Amazon, people who work high up at Amazon, it's a revolving door with Amazon and the Department of Justice. I could keep going down the list. There's a revolving door between the Treasury Department and Wall Street. There's a revolving door where you literally have chemical company executives becoming the head of the EPA. EPA officials, a lot of them come from the chemical industry, the fossil fuel industry, and vice versa. So don't think the corruption just started under Trump 1.0 or Trump 2.0. It's just way more brazen and way more in your face. You have any thoughts before? I want to remind people we were on the ground reporting. We were on the ground reporting on the protests against Trump, the protests against Musk. We showed you the revolt, where a lot of other outlets were just bloviating out of their assholes. So I do want to remind people and show people some of those clips. But your thoughts before we do that, Zena?
Well, I think there's a couple things here. I think that we can have schadenfreude about the guy who is an ethno-supremacist who has been fear-mongering about migrants. I'm talking about Elon Musk being deported. There's a bit of schadenfreude there. I get it. But at the same time, if Trump does this, that means that Trump is now deporting people who are his political enemies simply because they're his political enemies, because he didn't go after Musk before. This was reported on a long time ago. And where was ICE called before Doge was set? Where was ICE called when Trump was his buddy? We knew that that Musk had openly talked about having issues with ketamine. That wasn't considered a problem for him to be able to have access to all of our freaking records, to the entire governmental database that his cronies could download, to kick people out of government offices. They all did this. They did this siege, a literal coup, a literal siege on the entire government together as buddies, holding hands, skipping into, the SGA office and kicking people out so that they could all take a look at the contracts there through the SGA office and figure out which governmental contract them and their buddies want the most.
And Colin, I just sent you one because this is just adding to the fun of it all. So it's been no secret. Elon Musk has, I don't know. I don't really care. I don't know if he's impregnated these women. There's reports that he's used IVF with all these women. He wants to build a colony of his own children because he thinks he's so perfect. But he's got 14, 15 kids and counting. And there's been a public public drama about one of them.
GSA. I said SGA, GSA. I apologize.
Yes.
Go ahead.
There's been a public drama about one of his, again, I don't know if he naturally impregnated these women or it's IVF. I don't really care. But one of them was Ashley St. Clair. She is pretty much a right winger. I guess Musk was stiffing her on the child support or wasn't giving enough. I didn't really follow it, but she's getting in on the action now. So she tweeted, "Hey, real Donald Trump, let me know if you need any breakup advice." So, she's getting in there, and then somebody has at Grok, because you could ask Twitter's AI, is Trump heading for divorce? So Ashley St. Clair, who I guess is the mother of Elon's 14th kid or 15th, I don't know, I've lost track. How's this for family values, by the way, Republicans? You were just saluting a man who's got 14 kids, 14 different mamas, and apparently is stiffing some of them financially. Anyway, I want to play some of this video. This is a video we did. I was on the ground at one of the Tesla protests because, again, as I said in the beginning, we could have fun with this, Zaina, but we should make clear this is not normal. Like the story. Oh, go ahead.
I've got one.
Your dog. You gotta love barking dogs.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Eric Swalwell tweeted out, this is so stupid, but tweeted out, Donald, without Elon Musk, you wouldn't be president now. You'd be a prisoner. It's like, that's what you got, bud. Like, that's true.
Well,
that's true to a certain extent, but
like I said, without Merrick Garland too, because he sat on his fucking hands for 2 years before.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I want to play some of this clip. This is from my on the ground reporting at one of the Tesla protests, because the people make the case that I'm making here. The media is only going to cover the drama of this. To be clear, what we have just gone through over the last 6 months or so with Musk and an unelected billionaire basically being made, what would you say, in Game of Thrones parlance, like Hand of the King, is not normal. It's really, really fucked up and corrupt, and we shouldn't normalize it. Colin, let's play some of that.
There's a new government agency, and it's called the Department of Gutless Edgelords. They're basically Nazis, and they're people that don't work for the people. They work for themselves and their own monetary benefit.
That's quite the throwback picture you got there too.
Yeah, this is the real deal right here.
An oligarch funding the president with his own very self-interested, dark agenda.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
He's been a liar and a con man for 40 years. We've known that here in New York City. We know who he is. He showed the world who he is, and somehow people bought it. America was conned largely by Fox, but by others, and they're a danger to democracy, and they're trying to burn the whole thing down and reap the spoils. So we have to fight back every day.
It's interesting. You have the Fox lies. Fox for many years was going crazy about Hunter Biden and all of his corruption. They're very quiet about Musk just handed himself a massive contract from Verizon. Musk, it's reported Musk's wealth has gone up $150 billion. They're all quiet.
Yeah, well, they're all liars, and they know perfectly well what they're doing. Rupert Murdoch and Lachlan Murdoch are adjudged liars. They paid out $750 million in the defamation suit with the election company, and they've got more suits against them. So we know they're liars, and they have no right to be lying to the American public for decade after decade.
In addition to what Musk is doing, the Republican budget is calling to cut almost $1 trillion in Medicaid. There's a lot of conservatives on Medicaid too. What would be your message to Trump supporters?
MAGA's on Medicaid, so you're in danger, girl. Call your congressperson. What I can say, do what we're doing. Call your congressperson, get out in the streets, call out the bullshit, and defend yourself. Defend yourself, if nothing else.
Are you worried because Musk and his little teenage, Doge, they're using artificial intelligence to cut the government? They're just using algorithms, and a lot of people are worried that this is kind of a test run to use it in the regular economy to lay off more workers.
Look at the work of Dave Troy, look at the work of Jim Stewartson, look at the work of Gil Duran. Look it up, people. Curtis Yarvin, their philosopher. Google it. What can I tell you? We've known this for several years, if not longer, and people just have to defend themselves. So MAGA, get a clue, look it up, and defend yourself, if no one else. But we're out here defending our democracy.
My last question. I got to be honest, I see more fight and resistance in people out here than I do the Democratic Party. Do you feel the Democratic Party needs to be doing more?
49.8% is not a mandate. Donald Trump is a loser. He's always been a loser. He does not have a mandate. We only lost by 1-point-something%, and it was because folks stayed home. That's a shame. They should have come out and voted for Kamala Harris, and then we wouldn't be having to do this. We'd be protesting for other reasons to move our country forward and get progress and build on the progress that we've been making for the last 40, 50 years. But no, instead we had to roll it all back. So we're out here. I'm a Democrat. I'm fighting. I'm not going to stop fighting.
Teddy, tell me, I'd see more energy here than I do any elected Democrat. Tell me about the energy here and the fact that we're seeing more protests among people than we are the Democratic Party.
That's right. Well, the Democratic Party is failing us right now, and they failed us so hard that the Musk-Trump regime is now in power. And the greatest existential threat that this planet is facing is this fascism, is this oligarchy, is environmental collapse that we're facing as a result. But what we know and what we're seeing here is that it's more legible than ever, the stakes that we face. It's not going to be enough to simply coordinate our outfits and wear pink in the House. It's going to take mass disruptive direct action week after week. This is an unprecedented moment in American history. And so people are going to have to rise up to physically show up to things like this constantly, to show our power. We're toppling a regime is what's happening. It's going to happen.
You know what really stands out to me about this? Because for about 2 years now, I've been, trying in a constructive way to say to the protest movement, protest is great, but you got to start economically protesting. We got to start hitting the donors where it hurts in their wallet, because the way you get change is through hurting the oligarchs who control the politicians. So I like the fact that this protest is targeted specifically to hurt Tesla, because Musk will care if Tesla goes down the shitter. Musk will care if he's the world's richest man. He's not exactly going to go poor, but his net value is going down as Tesla goes down. What do you think of this approach that they're trying specifically to target Tesla?
I think it's going to work, and I think it has to work. We see in protest movements around the globe that tackling the main antagonists of our economic systems, these oligarchs, these mega capitalists, these ultra-rich one-percenters, these billionaires that we've just seen it happen, literally purchased the American government. People are going to die as a result of the offices he's disbanding. Pandemics are going to erupt around the world because our funding for organizations have been slashed because of him, and it's all for his profit. They speak the language of profit. We're going to go after that profit. We're going to tank them, and it's going to take mass disruptive action to get there. It's not enough to stay online, to like stuff, to coordinate our outfits. That's not going to cut it. We got to get people in the streets. We got to be shutting these businesses down until it's not viable anymore.
There's a new government agency, and it's called the Department of Gutless Edgelords. They're basically Nazis, and they're people that don't work for the people. They work for themselves and their own monetary benefit.
That's quite the throwback picture you got there too.
Yeah, this is the real deal right here. This is the beast in the castle.
You know, there's obviously serious things at stake here. He's telling the government, lay off air traffic controllers. Planes are falling out of the sky.
Right.
They laid off nuclear workers who protect nuclear stockpile.
Right.
Gutting Social Security. MAGA is going to feel this too, correct?
I mean, I would think so. I mean, what this activity shows is that government matters. And of course there is fraud, waste, and corruption, but there's a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things, and this is the absolute wrong way to do things, and it's affecting all of the people who are the most vulnerable. So,
do you think there's been a lot of reporting that Musk and his allies are using artificial intelligence to go in, compile a list of government workers to fire, which obviously is pretty haphazard. a lot of people are worried they're just using this as a test run to then deploy it wider in the normal economy and lay off more workers.
I mean, that's news to me, but it's scary. And I think if there's one thing that we know for sure, it's that Elon Musk will use new technologies nefariously. Starlink, for example, turning off internet to the people that need it the most who can't get it any other way. There's one person that's deciding how he's going to provide these resources for folks, and that's extremely dangerous.
Yeah. Obviously, this is focused on Musk, but you have Jeff Bezos, who's kissed the ring of Trump,
right.
Mark Zuckerberg, a lot of big tech CEOs. What's your message to the rest of the billionaire boys club?
We see what you're doing. We see how much money you've donated to this campaign, and I think that the American people that may not have known what they were...
of a 20-minute report I did on the ground. Let me tell you, I covered that protest outside Tesla. Ashley covered 3 or 4 Trump protests. And I would say my vibe was it was kind of 70-30, 70% like normie Dems, kind of Hillary Biden type voters, Obama voters. But even they were starting to turn against the establishment Democratic Party. Even they were saying like, hey, the only one doing anything is Bernie, which tells you there's momentum right now against both establishments. But you cannot let the media weaponize and try and, manufacture consent that the answer to Trump and Musk is Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom or name your establishment Dem. You're muted, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I must have tapped my mic. Having a bad day. I'm sorry, guys. My dogs and my mic and everything's chaotic. I do apologize.
That's
we
okay.
kind of rushed to get this out here, and I don't think I had it all together.
No problem.
But thank you for being patient. Matt Iglesias tweeted out where
just tell people who don't know, Matt Iglesias is like the definition of neoliberal, talentless pundit. He's for some reason, a popular Substack author, but he's basically been preaching against Bernie progressive politics his whole career. Go on.
Yeah, he's a centrist. He was at the third way centrist Democratic meeting yesterday as well. But he says, I feel like Jeffries and Schumer should give Elon Musk a call and tell him about the Democratic Party's long-standing interest in electric cars, solar panels, space exploration, and balanced deficit reduction. I don't know that it played a major causal role in anything, but holding an EV summit at the White House and not inviting Tesla was genuinely one of the most brain-dead political ideas of all time.
He's referring to Biden held an EV
Biden,
summit.
he's like, he's basically saying, you made Elon mad. We have to go lick his boots and get him back to the Democratic Party. But yesterday, I believe it was, Ro Khanna said something similar.
Yes.
That we should be going and talking with Elon Musk. Ro Khanna.
So basically,
supposed to be a progressive bellwether, but isn't.
So basically, Iglesias's message and apparently others is, hey, we could get the megalomaniac, drug addicted, criminal kleptocrat back in our corner. Hurry, before he changes his mind and goes back to Trump. That's the message.
That's the message. Go get the money. Go get the money for our races. Go get this guy. But the message wasn't just that. It was, we care about the deficit here. We'll cut Medicaid and Medicare and SNAP and all the things that Elon Musk wants cut. We're austerity politics, man, just as long as you give us that donor cash. Pathetic.
Hold on one
Matt
second.
Iglesias is pathetic. And yes, he has the ear of Democratic Party leadership, and that's why he's sadly relevant.
Read the chat, Zaina. I just sent something. So I want to point out another element to this. To be clear, all of this is going on, and this is going to last. This is going to last in the news cycle for days. All of this is going on as the Republican Party is trying to ram through probably the most regressive bill in my lifetime. This takes like what George W. Bush did with his tax cuts for the rich. This is like on steroid. This would be the biggest tax break for rich people in corporate America in the history of America. It also, not only would it give on average, not only does it give on average, I believe, almost like $300,000 in tax cuts annually to the richest people. If you're on the bottom scale, so if you're making between $17,000 and $50,000 a year, so deeply poor to, lower working class, you would have an increase of $700 a year in taxes. That's a lot of money if you are poor or lower middle class. A $700 tax increase for the poorest among us. And if you were even lower than that, if you're under 17 grand, your taxes would go up over $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention all the other things in there that probably nobody has read, including what Ashley wrote about earlier on our Substack, which is that hidden AI provision. So this is unfortunately going to take focus away, even though their fight technically is over this bill, which I don't really think it's over this bill. I think Elon is just butthurt that Trump gave him, the heave-ho out of the Doge. But this is going to take focus away from the bill, which sadly is going to go through in some fashion because Democrats don't have any control, and the Republicans run the whole thing, and this is their last chance to loot the Treasury. I mean, that's the truth. It's also going to take focus away that there is still an ongoing U.S.-funded genocide going on in Gaza. I think the latest headlines were another 20 to 30 Palestinians killed overnight.
Yep.
Nothing's changing.
To Greta Thunberg's flotilla for just, Greta Thunberg and several other activists on a flotilla just trying to bring in some supplies and food. In a way, yeah, it's symbolic, saying people need to come in and help, need to be brave and do something. The Israeli government is threatening her openly. And we're still talking about funding. There's still funding for Israel that's going to be available, that's going to be made, billions of dollars in funding, weapons toward Israel, while 11 million Americans can be potentially kicked off of Medicare and Medicaid.
Yeah.
Lose their healthcare coverage. 11 million people.
It's bad news all around. I got to go take care of my newborn. Zaina is going to stick around. Colin, if you want to test it with Zaina, maybe she could take calls if you want to do that, since we know how to do it with one person. If Zaina wants to do that.
I could take a few if folks wanted to call in. That would be fine.
Also, reminder.
Almost 6.
Reminder. The Great Zaina Day will be live on Sunday. Status Sunday. 1 o'clock Eastern to 3 o'clock Eastern. That's 10 a.m. to noon Pacific. So please put it in your calendar. She will be joined by Chuck Modi, who's a great independent journalist. He's covered a lot of the protests in D.C., Black Lives Matter protests, Palestine protests. So the two of them will be live on Sunday covering stories, and it's part of our membership drive. We're going live on Sundays every week now to grow our membership. So please tune in Sunday, and please, if you can, we're not just talking the talk, we're walking the walk. There is no other outlet, mainstream or independent, that is on the ground consistently. And like I said, we are trying to go to Memphis to cover Elon Musk's super AI, supercomputer center that is poisoning the community. More Perfect Union did a report on it. We want to go there on the ground and do in-depth reporting. It costs money, between paying Ashley, who's our reporter, John, our cameraman, Colin, our editor, freelancers like Zaina, myself, travel costs.
Desiree Berg, when she does reporting as well. Yep.
It all costs a pretty penny. So please support us. StatusCoup.com/join. You could join us 16 cents a day. That's what $5 a month is, 16 cents a day. For those that can't afford it, no shame if you don't even have $5 a month. For those that can, there's a lot of outlets asking you for money. There's a lot of politicians asking you for money. There's a lot of nonprofits asking you for money. There's a lot of think tanks asking you for money. Ask yourself, what the fuck are they all doing? Because they're not all on the ground. They're not covering stories that the corporate media is covering up. So
AI is now writing the news. That's
right.
who's writing articles for Reuters and for the Associated Press, and journalism is going by the wayside. So we have to be able to support the Fourth Estate in the places that we can.
Absolutely. All right, Zaina, take it from here. Read tweets,
Okay.
talk comments, whatever you want to do. I'll see
Go
you guys.
hug that baby.
All right.
All righty, Colin. We have any super chats? Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much, Grace, for the super sticker. We really appreciate your support. Every little bit helps. It really does.
That was actually all for today.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to look one more time before we close out and see if there's anything else crazy. Because I don't want to go out and then the files were just released. Let me check real quick and then we'll close out for the evening. And there's one thing I did want to say closing out. No, we do not need to make friends with Elon Musk in any party or political conglomerate or configuration whatsoever. The Democrats, I'm not a Democrat personally, but they don't need to go out making friends with Elon Musk, bootlicking and begging the billionaires to come back. Trump is also a corrupt billionaire. There is, in my opinion, two corrupt sides to this divorce, to this argument, that are going back and forth and slinging mud. But look how easily things start to come out. All the things that they've gaslit us about. They've gaslit us about Trump and Epstein for 6 years now. We were gaslit that Musk wasn't a problem and that these government contracts were great. Musk is now threatening to withhold a SpaceX rocket that that federal funds paid for, a SpaceX rocket that belongs to the American government, essentially. So sorry about that, guys. A SpaceX rocket that the government, that doesn't belong to SpaceX and to Elon Musk. It was subsidized. All of this is what can happen when you give billionaires so much power and when those billionaires bring a fascist into the White House. And that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing the culmination of the last 20 years of our decline, of our late stage capitalism, of the Citizens United ruling that allowed corporations to act as people and donate to campaigns. As Jordan said at the beginning, no one should have been able to donate more than $300 million to a single federal race, president or not, any federal race. So I guess we'll just see how this shakes out. We can laugh at it, because what else can we do, really? But also just remember, there is no good guy in this scenario. These are two oligarch robber barons arguing with each other over who's gonna wave the bigger stick. And I guess we'll see what flushes out from this. But thank you guys so much for joining. Really appreciate it. No, the files have not dropped yet. I just checked. But do appreciate everyone joining. And please, if you can, comment on this video on YouTube. That definitely helps our algorithm. Also, like, subscribe, and if you can donate, go to Status Coup /join. And as Jordan said, $5 a month. Join us on Sunday as well. And you can check out my content. Details will be down, or the details will be down in the description. But you can follow me on bullhornbulletin.com or at Zainab Day on Twitter. Or X. I don't like to call it X. But yes, you can follow me on Twitter. And thank you guys so much for joining. Have a great day.